Oh, right. I gotta put fuel in the car. So yeah, at one point, I built this, like a little vehicle tractor station, and its job was just to deliver ingredients for steel. We never actually, we never stuck around with that. Like, it was kind of lame. Like, as fun as it was to make this tractor that goes back and forth and runs over animals all the time, like, it didn't really need to do that. Oh, hi, kitty. Up on up. Somewhere over here. There's the tractor. Just kind of chilling out here. Here we've got our first coal plant. I wrapped it in a box. But like, this was the nearest coal to the base. Apparently it's somewhere. My partner in crime, Epic Chicken, actually did a lot of work here. Not here specifically, but in the game. He had his own little base, his own setup. He was a huge help to me. He was the guy that got us dimensional storage. Like, the one thing I never did was really go exploring. To be honest, like, I just love the building aspect. And it was really nice of him to, like, handle all of that for me. Hello, guys. But yeah, this would just gather coal, send it back to the main base. Eventually my friend was like, you know what, cars are stupid, and so he ran this big conveyor all the way back. Which really was the smarter choice, but it was less fun. Let's see, what did I do after this? I think the next thing I did was build a steel factory out in the middle of nowhere. In the desert. Let's drive wildly and dangerously over in that direction. Oh! Easy there, Tiger. If I had to choose a starting area again, it would have been the desert. The desert's probably the best place to, like, start your, like, main mega factory. Oh my god. Excuse me, giant spider. Get me out of here. Oh no. You make me crawl out with all these mega spiders around? Go on, flip me back over. No? Whew. I had other friends I invited to play along, but they were a little disappointed that, like, they weren't completing their own game. We were all working on the same factory. Which, to be fair, like, is pretty frustrating. Like, I was really hoping we could all, like, play together and, like, build our own independent factories and just kind of, like, play the game together separately. Which I thought would have been really fun. Mostly because, like, none of us had the time to, like, ever play together at any given point. We would just like log in whenever we could. And so like if they did play with me and we all worked on the same project, like they'd log in and we'd be in a completely new phase and they'd have no idea like what our goal was or what we were doing. And there's like an in-game notes system where you like project manage, tell them about all the things. Here we go. Here's my steel factory. We never used any of it. I built this super efficient steel factory to build all the steel we could ever want, and it never came in handy. Like, I never bothered hooking this up to a train. I never bothered, like, doing anything with it. Like, it's just pointless steel out in the middle of nowhere, and it's perfectly efficient, too. I spent a decent amount of time on this. Not too much, but, like, maybe, like, 2 hours just building this. I was like, this will come in handy, and apparently I never even slapped, like, dimensional storage on it. So I've got steel that never had any purpose whatsoever. And the next thing I did was build a train. Around this time we were getting to like the rubber and plastic bits. And I wanted to build a train that went around the entire world. And the idea of this train actually, there's a better way to show you the idea of this train. Oh no, I died. I'm back. Around this time, I also learned how hypertube cannons work. Speaking of which, let's equip the parachute. And I was thinking, like, the quickest way to get from my main base to, like, the massive outer train would have been this guy. Woo! And so this launches me to, like, a nice convenient train station over here. This train station goes all the way around the outside of the world. Like, part of me wants to, like, ride it again, but, like, to ride the train completely is a full half-hour train ride. Like, it goes all the way around here. There's a little train station over here where it picks up oil and plastic. There's some more train stations over here. My friend's base is in a cave somewhere around here. And so, like, he can hook things up to the various trains. This is mostly getting, like, aluminum back over here. And, like, the train that goes around the outside of the world connects periodically to the train that goes around the inner circle. Or it connects to some kind of, like, inner circle loop here. That just, like, takes things from, like, the long half-hour train and puts it on the much shorter, like, inner circle train to make sure everything gets to, like, the master crata base. But yeah, building this train was a lot of fun. Like, it took several hours, but having a train go around the outside of the world in, like, the goofiest way possible. Like, there's a lot of spirals. I almost wish I could do, like, loop-de-loops. But it was a lot of fun building it that way. Alright, back to the main base. So, building a ton of things. Eventually, I needed a way to, like, whoa. Okay, that didn't go as planned. Let me go ahead and get rid of these. I hadn't ridden that tube in 100 years. I didn't know I built stuff in the way. But I needed to get anywhere on the planet quickly. That's why I built this hypertube cannon. It just launches me straight up. And this way, I can get all the way up here. Look, you can see the mega factory in the distance. And this is high enough that I can carefully glide to anywhere on the planet I wanted to be. Like, I didn't find a ton of use for this, but this was like one of the smartest things I've done. Like, it's about a, you know, I don't know, a 5-minute trip to anywhere on the planet. But it was a very, very smart idea. Should we go to the master database? When did I build the master database? So I built the train that went around the world. Then I built the inner train. And then I built things connecting the two trains. I think building this was the next step. To the master database. It's really cool. I'm glad you like it. The hypertube cannons are fun. Alright, this is the master database. I built it to basically store everything in the world. I don't need any signs because, like, it just kind of like outputs everything right here where I can pick up anything I need at any time. Switch back to hover pack. Ow. There's some critters here. This was not like the best place in the universe to put this. I could even like take liquid in whatever containers and it would unpack it here and pump it through here to like the liquid storage part of the train here. And I have one train in. The inner circle train drops things out on this side. It dumps things into this container. This shoots all the way over here, and this dumps them over into like any direction. And so like it's just a bunch of like programmable splitters saying like if it's one of these things, send it in this direction. If it's something else, send it this way. Like here you can see I'm dumping all the final things for the space elevator into like one container, which comes down here and loads it onto this train, which takes it to the space elevator. If I wanted to send anything to my main base, say I needed like smart plates for something, I just hook that up here and say I need heat sinks too. I've got the 1-speed belt. That's fine. But like it would hook up to this, dump it here, and this takes me back to like my I call it my ephemeral factory. Ephemeral meaning like something that is meant to be like destroyed and put back, or something that's not meant to exist for very long. And so if I needed something that took smart plates and heat sinks, it would all load into here and it would all get shipped there, and I would sort out sort it out into like whatever inputs I needed. Yeah, that's the purpose of the master database anyway. It was really handy, and it worked very well. Like, getting through the milestones was very quick once I built this. Because, like, every time I needed, like, a certain thing, I could just pump whatever ingredient I needed into here, manufacture that one thing, and then just manually cram it into the elevator, or I could hook it up so that I could didn't even need to walk to the space elevator, which was like 20 feet away. But let's see. On top of that, over here is we have like the hypertube mailing system. They weren't built as efficiently as possible. I feel like if I did like the hypertube cannon thing and like had launchers configured to like speed me up along the way, these would take me to the various places a lot quicker. Let's visit the plastic and rubber factory, way out in the middle of nowhere. Hello, train. This is how I got around in the late game. I could have made these faster or better in some degree, but for the most part it was fast enough, and I didn't mind like taking the scenic route. It was fun kind of like touring the planet through mail tubes. Tried to keep it stable for the most part, but there's a few places where I fly through like this. It gets a little choppy at some points. But yeah, I've got tubes running over basically the entire planet. Now you could do boring things like build hundreds of meters in the air and then just have these go in straight lines. And if you drop into them, like, gravity speeds you up more than anything else in this game. Hello, train. The outer train, that's a rare sight. Like, this guy makes it to this point like once every 20-something minutes. You know what? Let's go for a train ride. And I'll show you like the other thing. Like over here, we've just got like a very simple like rubber and plastic factory. I never hooked it up, but like if I ever needed rubber or plastic like to fill the main database, you just take a couple armfuls and load it onto this train and it would get there eventually. I had fun with this train. It very rarely goes in a straight line. I wanted it to do as many fun loops and spirals and go to like cool spots as possible. Hopefully none of you all get motion sick. This part was a pretty vicious location, like coming through that little loop there. There's a ton of monsters here. I actually died a couple of times in this section of train. For the most part, I was building fast enough that like I could get away from the monsters, but there were just too many in that like dense area. Not a lot of places to go and hide. Trying to remember how this train goes.